Okay guys, I'm Shiny Huntress Alexis. I'm coming at you for a different channel actually, where we play Commander with some music over the gameplay. Where we just vibe, relax, you guys can have some nice music to relax to, and watch the videos. So yeah, I'm gonna go over a deck tech though. Well, not deck tech, just my deck that I'm gonna be playing here within hopefully a week. Uurg, Spawn of Turg. So, Uurg is a very interesting commander where I want lands in my graveyard. So it's a pretty decent counteraction to land destruction, which I think I'm one of the only one or two people who play land destruction in my play group, but that's a different deck for another day. So yeah, he has power equal to the number of lands in my graveyard. At the beginning of my upkeep, I look at the top card of my library. I may put that card into the graveyard. Otherwise, I just draw it like normal. And then I can pay black-green, aka Golgari, sacrifice a land, and gain 2 life. Which I've only used that ability a handful of times. But yeah, so before I get fully into the deck, we own these decks in paper for the most part. I'm just waiting for one more card to come in the mail for this deck, so yeah. I'm gonna get started though with the rest of the deck, and start off with the draw package. Which is weird, because some of it's kind of a draw. So, we have Sivris, I think is how you say this. Nightmare Speaker. Tap it, sacrifice another creature or an artifact. Sorry, I haven't drank anything yet. And I just got done streaming, so my voice is a little bit shot. So for each opponent, I mill a card. Then I return that card from my graveyard to my hand, unless that player pays 3 life. And I just looked up how this worked, because I was kind of curious. So first, let's say I'm in the pod with Mr. Fish and Jugnug. First, Mr. Fish will choose if he wants to pay the 3 life, or have that card go to my hand. Then I repeat that process after they decide which one they want to do with Jugnug. Boom. If they both don't pay that 3 life, it goes to my hand. Otherwise, it goes to the graveyard. So, either way, neither one's really a downside in this deck. So that's the first piece of card draw out of 10. The second one is Hollow Musk Siege in the card draw package. As this enters the battlefield, choose Sultai or Abzan. Sultai, whenever a counter is put onto a creature you control, draw a card. Then this ability only triggers once each turn. But that's not why it's in the deck. It's on for this bomb ability, because I kind of want Voltron with my commander. Whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It gains... On target attacking creature, sorry. It gains Menace as well, which is great for Uurg. Boom, bam. So that's the second card of card draw. Scion. So this is kind of a cool effect. Scion of Halaster. Commander creatures you can own, not control, own, have the first time you would draw a card each turn. Instead, you look at the top 2 cards of your library. Pull one of those cards into your graveyard. Put the other one on the top of your library, then draw a card, which makes this insanely good with Dredge, because you still draw that card. So I see a land, cool, goes to the graveyard. Or see a dredge card, cool, goes to the graveyard. I dredged that many cards instead of drawing for my turn. Sweet! So useless card goes to the graveyard in these situations. So that's the second piece of card draw. 6 cents, you know, I see some play with Niv-Mizzet and stuff. It's just in here for value, because whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. Just in here for some simple card draw to get the deck a little bit faster. Vessel of Nascency, I think is how you say that. Pay 2, a green and 1 other, sacrifice this enchantment, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker card from among them into your hand. Put the rest into the graveyard. And it's a maze, so I can just choose to throw all of them to the graveyard. There's been a couple of times where I've had 4 lands, and Uurg got huge and wiped the table with this, which is nice. Merciless Resolve. Simple, easy, another way to get a land in the graveyard, and it gives me a draw 2. Sometimes I will use it to sacrifice a token to draw 2, if I'm really behind a mana. And then this is another way to get lands into the graveyard. Target player mills 2, usually me, to hopefully hit a land. Draws 2 and loses 2 life. Cool. It's like a Read the Bones, but slightly better in this deck. Funeral Rites, I draw 2, lose 2, then mill 2. Same thing as the previous card, which I think was Atrocious Experiment. Cool. Night's Whisper, just another draw spell. I draw 2, lose 2. Nice, easy 2-mana card. Sign in Blood, target player draws 2 and loses 2. I have used it to kill players, but I usually use it to draw a card myself. And that is the end of the draw package. So I draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. And then we have our Evasion package, which is kind of weird because this is in here to give it haste. But this is nice because it's a simple 3-drop, but you equip for 1. You give Uurg haste, trample, and vigilance, which gets pretty nuts pretty quick. Nice, simple, easy card. Prowler's Helm. Can't be blocked except by walls, because almost nobody in my playgroup plays walls. It is hilarious. Put on Uurg and you start wham-a-lamming the table. This card's going to be a future cut, but I'm still running it as a filler for now. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has First Strike, Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. You pay 3, give it to Uurg. Your frog has a sword. Cool. You can start stabbing sooner. Nice and easy. Okay, so this is in here as a last-ditch effort. You give it to Uurg, who is hopefully at least 10 power at this point in the game. Like, let's say the game's going on too long, you're on, like, turn 10, you give this to Uurg, you start swinging, hitting. Or if you get really lucky, you get this on turn 2, start milling a bunch of cards in Uurg. Bam, boom, boom, bada bing. In fact, you only need 10 to win the game. Boom. I've done that quite a few times. I've wiped out a 4-player pod with this. Well, 3 of the 4 players, because I was the 4th. Then my land package. We just have the basic lands for simple necessity. Then the other 4 are the cycle lands, just to get them into the graveyard, which is nice, because then turn 1 I can pay 1, cycle it, turn 2, cycle it. For the deserts, you know, nice, easy things. I want to get some more lands I can cycle, but I don't know if there is any more in these colors. I'll take a look into it later. So yeah. Okay, the life gain package isn't really for the life gain. I just wanted another way to gain ways of getting my forest into my graveyards, because I see we're running 15 swamps, 20 forest. So, Dark Heart of the Wood. Sacrifice a forest, you gain 3 life. Nice, easy, simple. It's just in here for the Sacrifice a Forest effect, and it's only 2 mana. Okay, 13 cards. I'm going to have to keep a deep track of that. This is the Mill package. And Dredge. Yeah, they're combined into 1 for some reason. I don't know why. So, okay. Eerie Soul Tender is the first one up. I'm sorry that I keep coughing here. I don't have my drink near me. When it enters the battlefield, you mill 3 cards. Hopefully you can hit at least 1 or 2 lands, put those to the graveyard. Then you can pay 5, exile this creature from your graveyard, return another target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. It's a nice way of getting Uurg back from the graveyard instead of the command zone. So that way you can avoid some commander attacks, because the goal is you don't want too many lands on the battlefield, but you do want ways of getting Uurg back from the graveyard. Glowspur Shaman, nice, simple. You never put the land from your graveyard to your hand unless you're really mana screwed, which I've only done that once. But it's in here for the ETB of mill 3 cards, which is nice. Greater Moss Dog, you hope that you mill it with your bunch of mill cards, and then you can dredge 3, which is nice. Okay, this is in here for a reason. Oh, this was a filler card. So when it attacks, It gains Death Touch, Kagha? I probably butchered that. It gains Death Touch until end of turn. Oh, it's in here for the mill. Because you mill 2 cards when it attacks. Once during each of your turns, you may play a land or cast a permanent spell. Oh, that is way better than I thought it was. From among the cards in your graveyard that were put there this turn, which is actually pretty nice because sometimes, you know, you mill a permanent by accident that you really want on the field instead, like the Prowler's Helm. Boom. I didn't even know that was a part of this card until now. I'm glad I read this. Nyx Weaver, you all know why it's here. It has reach. At the beginning of your upkeep, you mill 2 is why it's in here. Because, once again, you want those lands in the graveyard, you keep wanting to mill. And then, once you feel like you've milled enough, you can pay 3, exile this creature, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. So let's say you milled that Prowler's Helm or Phyresis, you can grab them back. Old Rustin is just in here for the insect tokens, or treasure tokens. Sometimes the blood tokens are nice, but he's also in here just mostly for the mill at the beginning of your turn of your upkeep. You mill a card. If it's a land, you create a treasure token, which is a nice way of getting mana for the lands you mill. If it's a creature, you get a 1/1 green insect. Cool, you have some sacking options, chump blockers, you know, the fun stuff. If a non-creature, non-land card is milled this way, you create a blood token. Everyone knows what blood token does. You pay 2, you discard a card and draw a card. Shambling Shell, you use this to buff up. This is funny, actually, because you use it every turn to buff your commander, Uurg, with a +1/+1 counter, dredge 3 on your draw step of the next turn, and then repeat the process, and you keep doing it over and over and over again. And then then Uurg starts one-shotting. It's in here for the pure value. Okay, another mill card. Because a lot of my playgroup likes to do Voltron. Not even with just our commanders, just normal Voltron. Whenever a land is put into your graveyard, from anywhere you gain a life. And then you can pay a green and 2 other, mill a card, which is mostly why it's in here, to get lands into the graveyard. Stinkweed Imp is actually in here for multi-purpose, because it has Dredge 5, which is milling 5 cards, which is nuts in this deck. And then Flying. And if you ever have to block with it, whenever this card is dealt combat damage, it destroys that creature. So, not very useful against Indestructible, but it can get rid of a very dangerous threat on the board. Like, let's say Mr. Fish plays his Verena. I can stop the value train early with this card. Okay, Millstone, everyone knows what this is. It's nice, simple. You pay 2, tap 2, target player mills 2. You choose yourself. Yeah, everybody knows what that is. Crawling Sensation, at the beginning of your upkeep, you mill 2 cards. Whenever 1 or more lands are milled, you, for the first time, from anywhere... Oh, sorry, are put from the graveyard to anywhere. For the first time each turn, you create a 1/1 green insect token. So it gives you chump blockers, but it's mostly here for the mill to beef up your commander. Grizzly Salvage. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature card or land card from among them into your land. Put the rest from your hand into your hand. There we go. Into your graveyard. So yes, I don't normally pick anything. I just throw it all to the graveyard unless there's a really good creature. But usually it's mostly land, so I just throw it to the graveyard, which is nice. Then the final card up is Commune with the Gods. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature or enchantment card from among them into your graveyard. Into your hand. Put the rest into the graveyard. It's mostly here just to mill you 5 cards. Okay, then we got the protection package. You give your commander haste and hexproof. Everybody knows what for boots. You give it to Uurg. Simple. Then we got LOL. Or as I like to call it, LOL, because I have used this way too many times to prevent combat damage in my play group, because they like to make big, massive fields, think they can kill you in 1 turn, and then they tap out. I play this, boom. And then we mostly just use it for this part, and not even the Ferocious. We prevent all combat damage this turn, but if you have Ferocious, which is power 4 or greater, Instead, your creatures steal damage, but theirs don't. So you can use it to get rid of a big chunk of their board, which is nice in my play group. And then this is a card in here for memes. It's going to be cut soon. But I have used it to kill Jugnug in one turn. It made the game go from a 0 to a 10 real damn fast. Warforged was in the game. We were playing off screen. It was hilarious. Okay, what's the next one? Our ramp, which is a lot of ramp. Okay, Fëanor Elves, it's an Elvish Mystic. Llanowar Elves, it's another Elvish Mystic. Millican, you use this actually for the mill effect mostly. But you mill a card, hope you mill land, and then you get a colorless mana. Shigeki! You pay 2. Tap it, return Shigeki to its owner's hand, then you reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a land from among them onto the battlefield tapped, put the rest into your graveyard. So you hope that you can get 1 land if you're behind on mana. I've used it sometimes to fix my mana, but a lot of times you just want to mill all of those. And then it has Channel double X, so you pay the X, you divide it by 2, discard this card, return X target non-land creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. Non-legendary cards, sorry, I said non-land, my apologies. Skittering Surveyor is going to be another future cut, but it's in here just to search the library for a land in case you need mana fixing. I just haven't found cards I want to replace them with yet, because I don't want to play something too powerful. Like, I am playing some powerful cards in this deck, but I don't want this deck to go above a bracket 3. Because this is my more casual, more fun deck, where I just want to turn off my brain and turn things sideways. Springbloom Druid, it has the search ability, but it's mostly in here just to sacrifice a land. Sure, you grab 2, which is nice, because it replaces your 1 for 2. And then it gives you more lands on the field to sacrifice with other cards, like the Heart of the Darkwood. Werebear, it's just a mana dork, but if you have 7 or more cards in your library, it becomes a 4/4. Not in your library, in your graveyard. Arcane Signet, everybody knows what it does. You add a color of your commander's identity. Commander Sphere, same thing as Arcane Signet, but you can sacrifice it to draw a card. Golgari Signet, pay 1, get Golgari mana. It really has helped me quite a few times. Soul Ring, I use it mostly for commander attacks. Honestly, it might leave the deck, because I've been finding a basic land would be better in most situations in this deck, but I'm not sure yet. Colony Heart Expedition. Whenever a land enters the battlefield in my control, I may put a quest counter on it. Once it has 3 or more counters on it, I can remove 3 counters, sacrifice it, search my library for 2 basic lands, put them to the battlefield tapped, which is another way of getting lands onto the battlefield, fixing my colors, sacrificing lands, you know, all that fun jazz. Crop Rotation is mostly just in here to get land in the graveyard and color fix. That is really all it's in here for, because it gets me a land straight to the graveyard and color fixes me. Harrow is in here, so that way in the early game I can sacrifice a land, get it to the graveyard, and color fix my mana. Because if I like soloing out and stuff, you know, I'm going to do that. Rampant Growth, you know, I'm just in here to ramp me a land. Because ideally it's to color fix me around turn 2 or 3 to guarantee my commander. And that's the end of the ramp package. Undertaker. So this is our recursion package. I pay a swamp, discard a card, and tap this as well. Return target creature card from my graveyard to my hand. Another way of avoiding commander attacks with Uurg, which is super nice. But it does die to removal pretty easily, which is kind of sad, but that happens. Season of Renewal. If like Undertaker dies, you can do this in response. Choose one or both. Return target creature card from your graveyard, or return one of the enchantments from your graveyard to your hand. Which is nice, because let's say both Phyresis and Uurg are in your graveyard. Boom! Both go to your hand. I've got white Nissas in here. It has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield, put a loyalty counter on Nissa. Untap target land with the +1. Well, land you control. You may have it become a 3/3 elemental creature with haste, and Menace until end of turn. It's still a land. And then -5, you may put a creature card with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of lands you control onto the battlefield. Sorry, on the battlefield from your hand. Or graveyard, and put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Sorry, I had a little bit of trouble reading that because the screen's a little bit blurry for me, because I don't have my glasses. But yeah, so another way of avoiding command attacks, which is nice. Even if it's just a one-time use, that one-time use could be huge. Okay, removal. So this is going to be weird. This one's in here for me to sacrifice my lands consistently every turn. This is a new pick. This is the card I'm waiting for to come in the mail. Everybody knows Braids. It was banned for a long time. My friends are not looking forward to playing against this. But I'm going to test it out in this deck, see how it runs, and I'll let you guys know. Okay, this, in my opinion, is one of the most overcosted kill spells. You pay a black, pay a life, put the top card of your library, hope it's a land, into your graveyard. Then you discard, hopefully a land, once again. And sacrifices. That is just the cost, just to destroy target creature. But the amount of times this has saved the game for me is nuts. So yeah, this helps you get quite a bit of value for your deck and remove a creature. So there's pretty much no downside for 1 mana. Cast down, destroy target non-legendary creature. Cool, can deal with the problem. Murderous Cut can deal with blockers. You remove 4 non-land cards from your graveyard, but they can be lands if you want. Don't know why you would in this deck, because you want the lands in the graveyard, not exile. And then you destroy target creature. Putrefy. Destroy target artifact. It cannot be regenerated, or creature. Deals with problematic cards in my playgroup. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. You may play an additional land. Mostly in here for that top part, but having the additional land is nice. Feed the Swarm is destroy target creature or enchantment and an opponent controls. Then you lose life equal to that mana value. I'm still used to saying CMC. Nice easy card to understand. It's in here to deal with problems once again. Infest. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. Because my playgroup likes playing a lot of small tokens, like zombies. I think one of them plays insects. Birds. Which is weird that there's a lot of birds in my playgroup. So yeah, nice easy stuff for that removal. Zora Orb as another sack outlet. Same thing as the Heart card, but 0 mana. You sacrifice a land and gain 2 life. Boom. Ways of getting lands to your graveyard. I don't know why this is just a sorcery. It should be in the removal package. Each player sacrifices a creature. If you sacrifice a creature this way, you may return another target permanent from your graveyard to the battlefield this turn. So you use it to get like one of the enchantments back and remove a bunch of creatures. Nice, simple, and yeah, that is the deck I am hopefully playing this week. It's just for fun. It's only bracket 3. I hope to see you guys in the next video.